Hello.
Hello, Lee Loveless.
So this is an excerpt from my new book. I just want you to know that this is really personal to me, and it was really hard for me to write like this because, this subject matter makes me moderately uncomfortable. I'm pretty conservative, but okay. So this is the premiere. No one's ever heard this before. Okay. This is called The Sullen Barkeep's Secret by Lee Loveless. Now just remember, this is going to be inappropriate, so earmuffs anyone. Sorry, teachers.
They love it.
I think they've seen it all thus far. And it might be a choppy reading because there's a lot of crossing out and adding in the subject characters. Okay, so without further ado, is that right? Okay. Lily Winter stood outside the bar looking through a stained glass window at the muddled image of drunken bodies moving about inside. Through the yellow and blue glass, she caught a glimpse of the aquiline nose, strong jaw, and thick brown hair of the bartender, Stone Hancock. She knew she must speak with him. It was a matter of utter importance. He was the only one who had witnessed her father's death, and therefore he was the only person who could explain her brother's sudden move to Barbados, and her mother's equally sudden inability to speak, sleep, or digest. Don't laugh. Lily pulled open the heavy wooden door and stepped inside. Suddenly, the raucous laughter came to a halt, and all eyes were fixed on her. To Lily, this came as no great surprise. She had, as she well knew, been a creature of beauty, grace, and sex appeal since her 15th birthday. Her perfectly waved raven black hair fell in cascades down her back, and her exquisitely proportioned features were made more dramatic by the bangs which cut straight across her forehead. Her long, svelte body was shaped like a bottle of Coca-Cola with legs that went on for days. And her eyes were of a brighter green than the most poisonous Amazonian tree frog. Lily's 6-inch Versace heels tapped coldly on the tile floor as she slowly strutted towards the bar, where Hancock nonchalantly washed a beer mug with a white dish rag. Stone Hancock? Lily queried in her siren-like voice. Responded the bartender without even a glance of acknowledgement. Lily looked around the bar. The patrons all seemed to have followed Hancock's lead and were looking down into their glasses, completely ignoring her. Shaken by the sullen barkeep's lack of reaction to her stunning beauty, Lily paused to gather her wits and continued. My name is Lily Winters. Elgin Winters was my father, and I've been told that you may have information about his death. Hancock looked askance at Lily, his sapphire eyes glistening like the slick hide of a breaching whale. Lily looked at him coldly, but her businesslike demeanor betrayed her impure thoughts. Stone was beautiful. The sinews in his strong jaw tightened as he clenched his teeth together, and his V-neck T-shirt stretched easily over his pectorals, which pulsed as he ran the dish rag over another mug. Lily could tell he hadn't shaved recently, but his rugged skull was not enough to hide two sweet dimples which played on his cheeks as he bit the inside of his lips between perfect white teeth. What is it that you want to know, Miss Winters? Asked Stone quietly. Lily put her elbows on the bar and leaned in close, pursing her full coral pink lips. Her voice said business, but her body language screamed otherwise. Is there somewhere we could talk? In private? Sure, said Stone, setting down the rag. Follow me. He flipped up part of the bar's counter and walked slowly but calmly like a gladiator walking into the stadia toward a door on the other side of the bar. Lily discreetly hiked her black pencil skirt up a little higher and followed him into the room. Behind the door was some sort of conference space with a long cherrywood table and chairs with green velvet cushions. Stone pulled out a chair and sat down, splaying his legs out in front of him. His dockers were stained from years of wiping beer off of his hands onto his rock-hard thighs. Lily slid her rounded buttocks onto the table and sat down, her firm legs dangling, giving Stone the slightest view of what might be beneath her skirt. "So," said Stone, "how can I help you?" Lily cocked her head to the side and thought about how to go about getting what she wanted. She decided to be straightforward. "Listen," she said matter-of-factly, "I know that you aren't allowed to talk about what happened, but ever since my father's death, my family has slowly been falling apart. I need some answers." Lily was surprised to discover that she was getting emotional. She tried to swallow the lump in her throat and stuck out her lower jaw to hold back her tears, which actually worked. "Ladies, try it." "Please," she said, "please, tell me what happened." Stone looked at the floor to avoid watching Lily cry. He answered her in his usual fashion, quietly and cautiously. "I wish I could, Miss Winters, but the police instructed me not to confide in anyone. I could be in a lot of danger right now, and I can't risk getting myself in deeper. If you just have some patience, it will all become clear in time. Once all of the legal proceedings are over, you will have your answers." "To hell with patience, I need to know now," said Lily through clenched teeth. "My brother has disappeared, my mother is dying slowly, and I need to get to the bottom of this. What can I do?" she pleaded. "How can I make you trust me?" Okay, this is where it gets naughty. Kind of. Stone's eyes softened, almost imperceptibly. "I'm sorry, I really am, but I have to get back to work now." As he stood up to leave, Lily hopped down from the table and stepped in front of the door. She was so close to Stone that she could smell his cologne and his smoky clothes. She softened her voice and put her hand on his firm, sculpted chest. "Please, Mr. Hancock," she whispered, looking into his eyes. "There must be something I can do for you." He looked down at her long, artistic fingers draped lightly across his chest and breathed in deeply. Avoiding eye contact, he took her hand and removed it, simultaneously trying to step around her to open the door. She used his forward motion to press her body into his, her firm breasts against his chest and her mouth on his neck. "Please," she whispered, and kissed the base of his neck slowly with her supple, moist lips. As she stood there, her hands exploring the curves of his muscular frame and her lips suckling the sweet, smooth skin of his neck, she felt his desire throbbing and rising to the occasion. "Please, Miss Winters," Stone protested. "I can't." "I know," she assured him as her hands moved from his chest to his zipper. "I know." As she unzipped his pants, he grabbed her face and pressed his lips to hers, his tongue exploring her mouth like a curious Cub Scout in a humid cave. Okay, here's where it gets naughty. She slid her delicate fingers into his pants and began to massage his hot, turgid member, more skillfully than a video gamer with a joystick. Settle. A gasp escaped from his perfectly formed mouth. "Miss Winters," he groaned, watching her fingers dance easily but firmly over his purple-helmeted warrior of love. I was challenged to use the word purple. And that's a phrase from a real romance novel. I just want to put it out there. That was plagiarized. "Lily," she moaned. "Call me Lily." She unzipped her skirt, wriggled out of it, and lay down on the table. Okay. Her legs opened, her womanhood framed by the creamy, smooth skin of her thighs. As though in a voodoo trance, Stone walked towards the table and placed his rough, tanned hand on the inside of her thigh. As he stared at the pulsing, aching space between her legs, Lily's face flushed and her heartbeat quickened. What was this feeling? So sudden and embarrassment? Shame? Nervousness? As Stone lowered his face to her thighs and ran his lips up towards her budding flower. Oh my God! Nothing's gonna happen. I promise, nothing's gonna happen.
It already happened.
That it was passion. As his mouth neared her delta of Venus. She threw her head back and inhaled sharply, but he paused. She saw his eyes peeking at her like a groundhog emerging from its den to check for predators, and smiled. She reached down and grabbed his shirt, and he climbed up on the table between her legs, his pleasure compass pointing towards her skinny equator. She pulled his face towards hers while his quivering shaft neared her passion fruit. She inhaled his heavy breath and readied herself for a pleasure monsoon. When he suddenly stopped. "This is wrong," he whispered as he tucked his manhood back into his boxers. "I can't tell you what you want to know, and this is wrong." He climbed down from the table, zipped his pants, and made his way towards the door. "What?" cried Lily, angry at having her desire squelched like a mosquito on the visor of a motorcycle helmet. "Get back here," she demanded, sliding off the table. Stone turned suddenly, his eyes as fiery as Hephaestus' forge. "You want me to risk my life for a cheap lay?" he hissed at her. He picked up her skirt and threw it at her violently. "Get the F out of my bar!" With that, he turned on his heel and walked out, slamming the door behind him. Lily was left standing in the dark, musky room, skirt in hand, staring after him. She put her skirt on and sat down on a green cushioned chair. Time for Plan B.
I marked all the good parts. Let's start a little romance journal in Millennium.